Thanks so much. Commissioner Bergmann?
Yeah, so I just have a question and I guess maybe a comment. The question is there's on Twitter in particular, there's been a lot of discussion about a lack of sufficient filters in classroom, I guess not classrooms, but places where children would go for services at various schools in the district, pull-out classrooms, et cetera, which are, I guess, from what I understood, teachers spreading on Twitter that they were not considered classrooms and thus didn't have those filters allocated to them, even though obviously there were children there. So I'm curious, I know the council member has been critical of some of these things, has been working on it, but that issue in particular, which seems essential. And then I guess a comment / question, which I direct to you guys, because I think it's something that needs, I know Councilmember Chase has been there, but I can't believe that this stuff isn't in place after a year of the pandemic, given that public schools are the most important service that the city provides, short of maybe some public safety. This is essential. It's the service that's been most impacted by COVID. And this is the most obvious. These are the most obvious issues. We had a resolution 6 months ago or something about outdoor learning. I'm at a loss, and I asked them, I'm at a loss with the mayor, I'm at a loss with the chancellor, I'm also sort of at a loss with the council, because these are obvious oversight issues that should have been, this should have all been ready on August 1st, not September 1st.
No, I feel you on that. And I will say, so as I know, the council member does these tours every year where she goes to every school. And, we have, unfortunately, years of conversations with DGS about the fact that, when we go to, in DCPS, when we go through these tours, it's usually this year, they were the first 2 weeks in August. The goal is for everything to be done before we get on the tours. We don't want to go through the tours and say, here's 50 things to fix. Now we've identified them for you. And I also say the principals have identified many of these things for months and months. It is very frustrating to us that continues to be the case. And I will also note here, even more frustrating that, as I said, we finished, sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar. I believe we finished, other than going to Eaton, which was modern high school, our last tour on the 13th of August. And this DGS blitz, for whatever reason, didn't happen until the week before school came in. And I will say, the council member sent a letter, it was either yesterday or the day before, to the chancellor and Director Anderson at DGS. Saying exactly what you just said. This is of any year, the most important year for us to have gotten this right and make sure, especially when it comes to HVAC systems, filtrations systems. Even flagged, we've been working to try to get them to fix the leak at Key for quite some time now. And while that's not related to filtration, it is related to, we need every inch of school space that we can have, because we need students to be able to social distance in the classrooms, and having classrooms that are, even if it's just portions of them, not operational, is not acceptable at this point. So I will say we agree with that. And, the council member has told the director and the chancellor she needs a specific expedited timeline for these to be fixed. And she wants a clear plan for why this will not happen again. And I will say on the tours, Director Anderson said something related to not having funds on hand for why these repairs weren't done sooner. We are looking for more clarity on that, since, the funds should be there. We know every year we need to, get our schools ready for students to come back. I guess all I'm saying is we hear you, and, we are planning to push back. I know we've had some conversations about, bringing in DGS to talk specifically on this issue, because it's not just Ward 3. We've been hearing these issues in Ward 6, in Ward, I'm just knowing the tweets that I've been reading in Ward 2. I was just talking to somebody today in Ward 4, where they, there's a new member there, and they did tours this year, and we're a bit surprised by the state of the schools by this close to the first day. So we're with you, and I think, more than any other year, I think the council is looking to see, what do we need to do to make sure this starts in June, to make sure that, principals always tell us when the council member comes through, the only time I see DGS in here fixing stuff is when you do these tours, because they want to look responsive. I can go even more in depth, because we used to have DGS, and I know some of the reasons that they delay things, but we hear you, and we're planning to push back on that more fully now that, you know, this was delayed so much this year. On the filters, I will also say that is something we're working as well. We are very concerned that just regardless of school size, 2 big HEPA filters were provided per each school. Depending on school size, I mean, every school has more, as you noted, more than 2 special space, whether it's a cafeteria, you get the gym, and then all of a sudden, what happens for if you have an auditorium? What happens if you have a larger related arts space? The principals have told us they've been asked to cart them around, which is not really a solution. I will say the council's looking at that too. I mean, the issue there is we need to procure more of those. But I mean, the push has been, one, on those big filters, they should be perhaps the numbers related to school size or footprint size, not, you know, just 2 per school. Also making sure that every instructional area has a filter. As you know, because of overcrowding, Ward 3 is, I don't want to say it's unique, but has a high number of schools that have had to convert closets and other spaces into classroom or instructional areas. And, you know, it's unclear to us at this point why those were overlooked, but we are pushing to get them to bring in more filters. The issue at this point now is, you know, procurement and, you know, getting DCPS to spend the money and get them in there. But it's on our radar as well, and we are as frustrated as you are.
Thank you. The tents are also.
Apologies.
Get the tents. Yeah.
Yeah. Amir, if there's anything that you can do from your end in your weekly staff meeting, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, please just reach out about the specifics. You know, if you hear about a specific school that I can follow up on, I'd be happy to.
Okay, I'm hearing it like across the district.
Right.
It's in outdoor organizations that I'm part of. It's chronic everywhere. So I don't think it's worth noting specific schools. I think it's a systemic issue.
I'll flag that in that case. Thank you.
And like a huge fail on the part of the government here. It's the only population that's 100% not vaccinated, and I think we need to do better for them. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other? Oh, Jason. Sorry. Apologies.
Just no worries at all. Just a quick question for Michael, and I understand that